Well, this is it. It's the final episode of Frogwatch. Today all the frogs are going to get released. So I've just given them a feed, so they've all had a chance to have a nice feed on the crickets before I release them. Now I come to the tricky part of trying to get these guys out of here. I've got a little cup and I'm going to try and scoop them up if I can into this beaker. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Try and encourage them to hop. Here's one. Let's get them down a little bit. There we go. So there's our first one. Here's one of the bigger ones. So we're going to release him out into the pond. Okay, so here he is, the first one that's going to get released over on here. We'll put him into the pond like this and he'll be able to... There he goes, he's in the pond, swimming away. You see him? And there he goes. Alright, so they've got to do that for the rest of them. So I've got myself the next 4 little frogs to be released. I'm going to release them over here. So hopefully this point here they'll be able to actually get up out of the pond when they need to, because they don't actually live in the pond, they will just live on the land either side of the pond, and they'll actually move quite far away. Here we go, one more. How'd you come up, buddy? There we go. There we are, so they've all jumped onto the grass. There. You should be able to climb out when they want to. Right, so this is the last one, so it's the last of my frogs. They're all out, so these last lot are going to go into the same place as the other ones. I'll get them out. And there we go. So all back in the pond from where they came from. See those little guys come right out. You all see them in there. Oh, in there. So it's a sad day, but it's also a happy day. So we say goodbye to our little froggies. Right, so I've taken everything out of the tank, all the plants and the stones, so it's easier to release the newts, because it's not just the frogs we're getting rid of today, it's the newts, the snails and the other sort of bug things that are living in the other tank. So if you can have a look over here, I've taken everything out. We can see on here, this is where the snail's eggs are. You can just sort of see a blob of jelly. Give me too close, won't focus. Unfortunately we didn't have it in long enough to see them hatch, but I'll put them back in the pond and hopefully they'll hatch out normally. So if we look at this tank here, you can see we've got one newt like there, and there's a few more about, a few snails. So we need to try and get these out. This will be a bit more tricky than the frogs, I think, but we're going to give it a go and see if we can get these out as well. Just to catch one, that's the first one. We're going to put this out into the pond. So I think I've got all the newts out. I'm actually amazed at how many I found. In here, if you can see this, I think what we've got in there, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 in here. I've already released 3. I never thought there were 4 newts. I've only ever seen 4 newts at once before, so I'm absolutely amazed at how many newts I had in there. I don't know what they've been eating, but they've been surviving well and growing well. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, these guys are all going to go into the pond. And away they go. So the last thing we've got is the 4 snails. So they're going to go back into the pond. Just swirl them around a bit, get them out. Last one. So everything should be gone out of this tank apart from the water louse. Now I'll probably just leave them in there for now, because I think they're going to be very difficult to get out, and I will release them at some point in the future as well. But for now they're going to be absolutely fine in this little tank here. Well, that's it. I'm back at home now. All the frogs, all the newts, everything has been released back into the pond, back when nature intended it to be. And I've really enjoyed doing this series. I really hope you've enjoyed watching it. I started this series almost exactly 4 months ago. It was the 30th of March when I released the first episode of Frogwatch. And over that time, I've watched the tadpoles grow from these little tiny little tadpoles into some quite big frogs, some at the end there. They're really quite big. And I've released them all, and it's quite sad saying goodbye to them, but it's really happy that they're all gone. And hopefully they'll be back in a few years' time to spawn themselves, and we'll have little babies from them. Hopefully they'll all survive. There's no way I'm going to be able to tell, of course, but I've really enjoyed doing this. And that's it for Frogwatch for this year. I may well do it again next year. We'll have to see how things turn out. I might do 1 or 2 little updates on the pond, because you see, I pulled out a load of weed recently, and we're going to, once the autumn hits here, I'm going to sort of try and tidy it all up, and we'll try and make that pond sort of really nice for future years. So when the frogs come back next year, it'll be a lovely environment for them to spawn. And also we'll look out for newts and things, and the damselflies we'll keep a look out for. I'm quite disappointed I never saw any dragonflies this year. I think I managed to catch a glimpse of one as it just flew away from the pond, but that's the only one I've seen. Last year there were quite a few, so that's quite disappointing. So hopefully next year we'll look out for those. Anyway, that's it. Frogwatch is over. I'm going to find something else to fill this slot now. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've absolutely loved making this series, and I'm really looking forward to next year and doing it all again. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.